School is exhausting. You wake up, brush your teeth, get dressed, and listen to your boring teachers for hours and hours straight. But so did your parents, and your grandparents, and your great-grandparents, and your great-great-great, literally the same routine for hundreds of years. It's got me thinking, what actually changed? And the answer is simple: food. School lunches in particular have changed drastically over the years, and today we are recreating 100 years of school lunches, and I'm going to be trying some of the best and worst food ever served in a school cafeteria. Starting off in 1910, a school lunch only cost 3 cents, and this is what their cafeteria used to look like. So in the 1910, many children attended school during the night time, as they would often work on farms in the morning. This was because of child labor being very common at that time. Schools also didn't provide them with sufficient meals, and most kids were told to bring their own food. But the lunch that they did provide was a canned potato soup that was usually made a night before, accompanied by a slice of white bread and some rice. And you know what? I'm a little bit nervous to try it. Alright, so this is a meal from 1910, and honestly it doesn't look or smell nice. Let's give it a try. Oh, woo! It has like a really bad aftertaste. It's almost like someone farted in your mouth. Let's try it with the rice. Let's see if that helps. Okay. The rice makes it a little bit better, but it's still really bad. I'm never complaining about food again. Do you want to try? They say cameraman never dies. Try this. This is so bad. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5. Let's move on to the next one, where lunch only cost 7 cents, and this is what a school bus was like. In 1920, school lunches saw some improvements, thanks to the health experts who told school on what they should be feeding the kids. As a result, for the first time, they started providing students with frozen vegetables. The reason why they used frozen over fresh was because the process was a lot quicker and much easier. Surprisingly, they also offered students grilled cheese, because in the 20s, cheese was considered one of the best source of protein. All of this was paired with a glass of milk that was introduced for the very first time. This came out a lot better than I expected. Let's see if it tastes any good. Now we're in the 1920 and we have vegetables, we have grilled cheese, we have milk. And yeah, that's it. Alright, let's start with the grilled cheese. This looks so nice. You can never go wrong with grilled cheese. Alright, let's give it a try. This is so good. Alright, let's try the vegetables. It's kind of boring. Not much flavor to it, but it's also vegetables. What do we expect? And we have some milk. I can never drink milk. I'm gonna give this a 3.5 out of 5. Also, a typical school day in 1920 was only 2.5 hours long, so they were eating good. But that didn't last very long. In 1930, school lunch cost 10 cents, and this is what their uniform was like. 1930 was a decade of Great Depression, which had a huge impact on what kids ate. Most of the families were living in poverty, and some even died of starvation. To cut cost, very large batches of vegetable soups were made using the leftover vegetables to feed the kids. This was accompanied by a peanut butter stuffed onion, which apparently was a delicacy, a roll of bread, and a glass of milk. Alright, so this is what the kids ate in 1930, and honestly, this looks rough. This has to be one of the most liquidy soup I have ever seen. Ooh. Oh, it's actually really nice. It tastes like one of those soups your mum made when you're not feeling well. Alright, let's try the bread. Bro, what? How am I supposed to eat this? I can't eat that. Whoever thought this was a good idea, put him in a jail right now. Peanut butter and onion has to be a crime. Alright, I'm gonna do it. I don't really want to do this. Woo! Alright, I'm gonna do it. Oh. Alright, so if you know anyone that went to school during the 1930s, go give them a hug right now. They deserve it. This is disgusting. 1 star. In the 1940s, school lunch cost 22 cents, and this is what their classroom was like. Now we're in the 1940s, where Coca-Cola was first introduced in school lunches, but it was quickly removed because during that time, Coke had actual Coke as one of the ingredients. A typical school lunch was basically a can of Spam, which was fried until crisp, then slow cooked in some milk until it became whatever this is. Now Spam was a lot cheaper than traditional meat and it could last up to 5 years, so it was perfect to store in large quantities. Students also got rice pudding as dessert, some vegetable and an apple to balance out the meal. During this decade, a lot of kids had to physically fight for their food because this was their only meal for the day. And let's see if it was worth fighting over. Now we're in the 1940 and we have Spam. Let's start with that. Now I've never had Spam and I just found out this one was in a tin can for over 3 years. So I'm a little bit nervous. Let's look at this. Alright, let's give it a go. Alright, it's not bad. You know what gets me? Not knowing what's actually in it. But if you don't smell it, it's actually not that bad. And of course we have the rice pudding. So good. Right, I'm gonna give this a 3.5 out of 5. Next up, 1950. In the 1950s, school lunch cost 35 cents and this is what their school used to look like. 1950 was known as a baby boomer phase, where population grew faster than ever before, which means school had to increase food production dramatically and government had to partner up with private companies to meet the demand, leading to an increase in school fundings by over 35%. Now this was great news for school as they could finally afford fresh meat for the first time. Meatloaf was introduced in school as it was simple to make in big batches and it only took 2 ingredients. It was also surprisingly filling and packed with over 50 grams of protein. This was served with some instant mashed potatoes, milk and a brownie. Now that's an interesting combo. We have officially made it to the 1950s and things are starting to look better because for the first time we have fresh meat. We all love fresh meat. Alright, let's give it a try. Whoa, that's really nice. Let's try the mashed potatoes. It's pretty good. Really good. And we have the brownie. This was a really good meal. I'm gonna give this a 4-star. In the 1960s, school lunch increased to 50 cents and this is what their lunchbox was like. The 1960s is when the fun begins, as kids got to eat pizza for lunch in school. And if you're Italian, look away, as they cut pizzas into square before serving them. It was also the year where lunchbox was first advertised on TV and humans landed on the moon. Now in order to balance out the pizza, school provided a simple side salad with chocolate mousse as dessert and some concentrated apple juice as the drink. We're in the 1960s and we finally have pizza. I've been waiting for this. I can already tell this is going to be good. Let's give it a try. This is so good. I like how they try to balance the pizza with salad, but we all know that's going straight in the bin. We also have chocolate mousse. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. And finally the apple juice. This was the best meal so far. I'm gonna give this a 5-star. See you in the 70s. In the 1970s, school lunch cost 75 cents and this is what their backpack used to look like. During the 1970s, federal nutrition standard weakened and the fast food made its way into the school's cafeteria. Kids got to eat cheeseburger for lunch, which might sound like a good idea, but it was highly processed and completely frozen. Now this was mainly because of all the cost-cutting measures imposed by the private companies to save money. So in the 1970s, kids had cheeseburger, portion of fries, glass of Coke and Jello. Oh my days. Now imagine having cheeseburger in school. This is so perfect. Just look at this. Can it get any better than that? I don't know. But we also have fries. Coke without the cocaine. And we have Jello. Right, I'm gonna give this a 5-star and I'm not sure if it can get any better than that. Or can it? In 1980s, school lunch cost $1 and this is what their computers were like. In the 1980s, federal budget cut reduced the school lunch program by over $1 billion. And because of this, school couldn't afford to feed 1 of every 4 students. It got so bad that the federal lunch program classified ketchup as a vegetable. Now the kids who got to eat had chicken nuggets because the process of making them was very simple. All they had to do was to heat them up. They also gave students a block of cheese to somewhat increase their protein intake. So in 1980, kids had chicken nuggets, block of cheese, french fries and a glass of Coke. Alright, this is a school lunch from 1980 and it looks like things are getting unhealthier by the minute. But if I was a student in the 80s and they gave me chicken nuggets, I won't be complaining at all. Now remember what I said, not everyone got to eat all of this, so I feel grateful. A full block of cheese is crazy. Let's try it. It's so salty. Oh wow. Yeah, I need a drink after this. This is a really good meal. I'm gonna give this a 4 star. We have 2 more meals left to go and things are going to get crazier. See you in the 90s. In 1990, school lunch cost $1.50 and this is what a school desk was like. 1990 was known as an era of peace, prosperity and the internet. A peak of technological revolution, but it was also a peak of unhealthy meals. As the government allowed McDonald's and other fast food restaurants to sell their products in schools. And yet nutrition was not even in the conversation. So 1990 was all fast food. Do I even need to say anything? Oh yeah, 5 stars. In 2000, school lunch skyrocketed to $2 and this is what a pen was like. Now we're in the big 2000s where pop culture overtook the country and things got very healthy very quickly. This was because the government started noticing the alarming rise in obesity rates, which increased from 5% to 18%. Schools also started changing their menu to healthier alternatives like chicken breast. Now chicken that they served was simply seasoned with just salt, boiled until cooked and then cut into slices. So in 2000, students had chicken slices, carrots and celery, fruit cocktail and plain water. And yeah, no dessert this time. Boiled chicken, carrots, celery, fruits, water. What the actual fuck? It's crazy how this is a complete opposite of the last decade. It's so dry. Woo! The chicken is so basic, there is no seasoning, it's just a little too healthy. If I was a kid and this is what they gave me, I would simply just not eat. They really went all out with the healthier stuff, but I do understand why they did what they did. So I'm gonna give this a 3 star. And finally, we're in 2010 where school lunch cost $3 and this is what their cafeteria was like. 2010 marked the rise of social media. Everyone and their grandma is now on the internet. It's where platforms like the one you're watching this video on overtook the world. And for the first time, students were actually given different food options, one of them being pasta and meatballs, which was served with a side of ice cream, fizzy orange juice and tomato wedges. Now let's be honest, we've come a long way. We have officially made it. It's 2010 and this is what I got to eat. Honestly, it's not very similar to what I had, but I do remember pasta being the main dish. Anyone who had pasta in school knows how goated it was. So good. It even smells the same, that's crazy. What's with the tiny meatballs? And we got some whipped cream. I'm gonna give this a 4 star, a bit of a weird combo, but the pasta was beautiful. And this is it. We have made it through 100 years of school lunches. Thanks for watching.